Hello and welcome, my lovely Parwans, and to all of you fans of Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically. Today, in this video, at least, I'm going to give you a deck profile of my Legacy of Darkness deck that I managed to build with using 15 random packs of the LOD sets from Yu-Gi-Oh! Online, from the online Yu-Gi-Oh! Pack Opener website. Pretty much as before, the decks that I built from these sets must be according to the newest ban list. And just for the fun of it, any fusions or extra deck cards that I get, even though they most of them are useless, I still need to put them in the extra deck, and I just managed to get quite a bit. 7. Useless though, but still, I've got 2 copies of the Super Robo Yarrow, 3 copies of the Super Robo Lady, and just 2 copies of the Fianco Dragon, which is actually a kind of a nice, old school fusion. Pretty much better than these guys, because they're like weak and their effects are shit and stuff. But this guy's kind of nice. Anyway, for the deck itself, we start off with a bunch of normal monsters. 2 copies of Warrior Digrapher, pretty much your standard level 4 beater, 1700 attack, nothing fancy, Earth Warrior and shit. Then we have another level 4 Earth Beast Warrior this time, a bit weaker, 1650. Wolf Axe Wielder, 2 copies, then 1 copy of Robotic Knight. Just a random level 4 Fire Machine, 1600. It's got a nice defense, 1800, so you can use him both ways, I guess. Then 1 copy of the Illusory Gentleman. He's a dark spellcaster. You never know when you might need him. He's again kind of okay in both aspects of defense and attack. And then 2 copies of the Dragon Dwelling in the Cave, which is pretty much your main defensive monster. I didn't get 3, unfortunately. I got 2 of them, but it's just a dragon, a winged dragon level 4 with 2000 defense, and if you need it, it's got 1300 attack points, which is okay given the time that this set was, released. Now for the effect monsters, pretty much I don't have a lot of boss monsters, but the Lesser Fiend is one of them. It's a level 5 Dark Fiend monster, which banishes anything that it destroys, any monster it destroys, which is really nice. It doesn't have a lot of attack, but 2100 is okay. Then the Patrician of Darkness, it's again a level 5 Dark Zombie monster. And the effect of this one is that when your opponent attacks, you can choose what targets, on your field your opponent designates for their attack. So you might have Patrician of Darkness and, let's say, the Dragon Dwelling in the Cave, and your monster and your opponent has another 2000 attack monster. So if they want to destroy your Patrician, you can, divert their attack to your Dragon, and then nothing happens, because 2000 attack does not destroy 2000 defense, Then 2 copies of, this set introduced the Spirit Monsters. Spirit Monsters are a type of monster that, a mechanic, in general, that they have some of them have really nice effects, but the trick is that when you summon them at the end of the turn, they go back to your hand. So you have to need certain spell cards to keep them on the field, after your turn. So these spirit monsters are really nice, some of them. So 2 copies of a Great Long Nose, pretty much a spirit monster, level 5. As per any other level 5 monster, you need to sacrifice a monster on the field to summon him, but if this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, then they skip their next battle phase, so that can save you time to amass an army, let's say. Then a level 4 again, Spirit Monster, which has 2000 attack points. This is one of the best Spirit Monsters for, you know, low level ones. This is the level 4 Thunder Earth Warrior. No, not Warrior. The level 4 Earth Thunder Monster, the Susa Soldier. And it has, as I said, 2000 attack points for a level 4 monster. And if you manage to keep it on the field with a certain spell card that I'm going to show you later on in this video, you'll have a nice, easy to summon beater. And his effect is that when the battle damage this card inflicts to your opponent's life points is halved. You know, pretty much it's a, you know, there is a cost for using him. You have a beater, right? Easy to summon, but it deals half of the damage that it should be, right? But it's not that big of a deal, really. Then I have one copy of Spear Dragon, that's pretty straightforward card, level 4 Dragon, Wind, 1900 attack, has piercing damage against the monsters in defense, but when it attacks, it shifts into defense, similar to you know, other cards of that time. Then 2 copies of Fushi no Tori, that's a level 4 Winged Beast Fire Monster, which is a Spirit Monster as well, which is nice. Pretty much when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, you increase your own life points by an amount equal to the battle damage that you've dealt to your enemy. So you attack directly for 1200, your enemy loses 1200, and then you gain 1200. So it's a really nice, it's a really nice card. Weak on attack and absolutely zero defense, you know, but it has an effect that can save you. Then 1 copy of Exiled Force, pretty straightforward. You can tribute this card, you know, on the field to target 1 card on the field and destroy that target. Then 2 copies of Throwstone Unit. This is your second main defense monster, you know, aside from the dragon dwelling in the cave. This is a level 4 Earth Warrior with 2000 defense. And it has an okay-ish, you know, effect that allows you to offer 1 warrior type monster on your side of the field as a tribute to destroy 1 monster on the field whose defense is equal or lower than the attack of this monster. So it's a specific effect that allows you to destroy monsters that have 900 and less defense. Which, you know, it's, as I look at it now, it's not that great, but if your enemy has like Spirit Dragons, so it's like Fushi no Tori, for example, or a Spear Dragon, they can destroy them. It can destroy them. Then 2 copies of Frontier Wiseman, pretty much. That's a level 3 Earth Spellcaster that can protect my warriors, as he negates any spell effects that target a warrior type monster you control, and if you do, destroy that card. So negates and destroys spells that target your monsters, which is nice. He's not that strong, 1600 attack. Then 1 copy of Greywing. Pretty much you can discard a card from your hand during your main phase 1. And if you do, this card can attack twice during the battle phase of that turn. So if your opponent's field is empty and you discard a card, you get 2600 attack damage, easy peasy, you know. Then 2 copies of Mysterious Guard. That's a level 3 Earth Spellcaster flip effect monster, which is kind of nice, I guess. Pretty much when you flip it, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field, and if you control a face-up warrior type monster, you can target 1 additional face-up monster on the field. Then you return the first target to the top of the deck, then return the additional target, if any, to the hand, if you still control face-up warrior type monsters. So it's like Hane for warriors, but better if you have more warriors on the field. Then 1 copy of Dragon Manipulator. It's a level 3 Earth Warrior, flip effect monster that allows you to take control of 1 face-up dragon type monster on your opponent's side of the field until the end of the end phase. It's an okay card, but I would recommend to have it in the side deck, because you never know that you're never certain or sure that your opponent will be using a dragon deck. But if they are, then you will be able to steal one deck for one dragon for a turn, basically. Now for the spell cards, we have one copy of After the Struggle. Pretty much a nice card. You activate it in your main phase 1, and all monsters that have battled this turn, or pretty much not battled, that have done damage calculation, that have been involved in damage calculation and have been destroyed. Yeah, pretty much any monsters that have battled. I fucked this up. I'm gonna read it just. All monsters on both sides of the field that have been involved in damage calculation are destroyed during the end of step of the turn, pretty much. Then we have reinforcements of the army. I don't need even to tell you what this is. Dragon's Gunfire. If you control dragon monster, which you have a couple of them, you can either inflict 800 damage, burn damage, or target a monster with 800 defense or less and destroy it. 2 copies of these. They're really nice to burn the enemy when you have one of these, like, let's say in defense or this in attack. Then another dragon support spell card, Stamping Destruction. If you control a dragon type monster, as in the case if you have these, you can target one spell or trap card on the field, destroy it, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to its controller. So again, it's a nice dragon support card. You destroy one back row card and you deal damage. Then 2 copies of the Secret of the Bandit, which is a very interesting card. So pretty much you can activate it in your main phase 1. That was a thing back in the day with some cards. So if you do that, you can select one face-up monster on the field, and each time the selected monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points this turn, your opponent discards one random card, which is fucking awesome. So imagine you combine this with this. So not just dealing 2600 damage to your opponent, right? But you can also discard 2 of their cards, which is fucking awesome. Then 1 copy of Emergency Provisions. That's pretty much straightforward. 1 copy of Convulsion of Nature. That pretty much makes your decks visible from the upside down. Then Spring of Rebirth is a continuous spell card that increases your life points every time monsters return from the field to the owner's hand. So pretty much you will be using this probably until you have the spell card that keeps your spirit monsters, so that before you can keep them, you can just gain some life when they go back to your hand. Then the next spell card is pretty much the main card for the spirit monsters, and that is the continuous spell Spiritual Energy Settle Machine. As long as it remains on the field, face up on the field, all spirit monsters remain face up. So this is the card that keeps your spirits on the field and do not return to their owner's hands during the end phase, even if they are normal summoned or flipped face up. So you have to discard 1 hand from your hand during each of your end phases. That's the cost. If you do not destroy this card, when this card is removed from the field, all face up spirit monsters return to your owner's hand. So in a dire situation, if you have both of these and a lot of spirit monsters, you can not pay the price and discard, and all of your shit gets back into your hand, right? And you get a shitload of life points, let's say 1500, 12,000, 2500, or whatever. The next spell is an equipment spell card, Fusion Sword Murasame Blade, which is for warriors only. It gives them 800 attack points, and while equipped to a monster, this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. So pretty much, in order for your opponent to destroy your monster which has this card equipped, they cannot just destroy the spell equipped to it and then the monster, they have to get rid of the monster itself, which is nice. Then 1 copy of Heart of Clearwater, which is again an equipment spell card, which must be equipped to a monster that has an attack of 1300 or higher. No, 1300 or less. So if the equipped monster is not destroyed as a result of as a result of battle or by the effect of a card that targets the monster. Wait a minute, that's weird. Right, so first off, you need a monster with 1300 or less, then equip it, and that monster cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Then for traps, I've got a feint plan. Pretty much a player cannot attack face down monster during this turn, and blast with chain. You can target one face monster you control, equip this card to that target, it gains 500 attack points, and if this card is destroyed by a card effect while equipped, target one card on the field and destroy that target. Pretty much. So this is my Legacy of Darkness deck. I hope you enjoy it, and may the Force be with you always.